Here with Johnny Keefer. Johnny, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it.
Thanks, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, let's start with the top 50. Like, obviously, like your agent, whoever, like pushed for some sponsor exemptions for that. But Sunday at the RSM, how aware of that? How much? I mean, you were in contention anyway, so obviously there's that pressure. How aware of the top 50 were you as that day's going on?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I was aware. I knew I needed a good event. It's not like I was gonna try any harder just because I
Right.
wanted to get in the top 50. I wanted to win, obviously. I think any of us there in that point would have wanted to do the same and competed to their best to try and go win that. But um, you know, I was definitely reminded of it a few times and getting in some interviews and stuff. But I told a lot of different people this too. I didn't feel like it was that much pressure still. Um, I kind of showed up and I understood that I really wanted to play well, but even if I ended up 51st, even if I still end up 51st,
Yeah.
it's no guarantee that that would mean that I'm out, right? So
Yeah.
like I still have another 3 or so months left at the beginning of the PGA Tour schedule to go play my way in. And regardless, I'd like to be in the Masters playing in my best form. So having it in the back pocket is really nice. But um, either way, I want to be playing some really good golf kind of around that time.
Your 49th, Rasmus winning gets him to 51st. I don't know if he's in Dunhill or the next two events. Are you like, I know, like, I understand you know that you have a lot of time to still get in there, but it would be nice, I assume, to lock it in. Are you going to watch the European Tour events? Do you look at OWGR? Do you follow the guy who VC 606 or whatever his name is like the who does a great job with like the scenarios that could happen? Or do you just like, I'll just check it on Monday or I'll hear from my agent on Sunday?
Yeah, I'm not that big of I don't really watch golf all the time.
Yeah.
I,
Fair.
I love golf. Um, but it's kind of nice being done right now and getting in the lab and kind of working on some things that I kind of want to improve upon. And yeah, I mean I know my dad's on it all the time. I know,
Yeah.
my agents are on it and all that. So there's a lot of people watching it. I am not one of those people.
Fair.
I let them worry about that. I've got plenty of other things in my life to worry about. So you know, keeping the
Yeah.
fiance happy and everything like that is probably a little bit more important to me right now. So
Yeah.
we'll see in a few weeks kind of how everything pans out. I know where I stand right now. I've been reminded a few times. So
Sorry for
um,
reminding you again. You're like,
oh
yeah,
no,
dude, I got
no,
it. No, I'm
it's
just kidding.
totally
No.
natural. It's totally natural. I'm completely fine with it. Um, but I'll check it within the next few weeks and we'll kind of take it from there.
All right, let's go back to college. I mean, you had a very, very good college career, Johnny. I'm not trying to say that there wasn't but you were 25th in PGA Tour U, and I know that doesn't really like we can have a whole debate on what that means and the rankings and all that, but like right from the get go, your pro career has been like wildly successful. Is there something that in your game what not that anything changed. I don't want to say changed like you just came out of the
Yeah.
blue because you didn't, but you like became dominant as soon as you turned pro. What do you attribute that to?
Uh, probably not having to worry about schoolwork anymore.
Yeah, fair. Fair.
Um, I definitely think there's a little bit of a factor in that. You know, I, I was very prideful of my schoolwork and
Hmm.
my grades and everything. And um, at the same time, I think I learned how to manage my body really well. Not getting super tired throughout the entire week and not beating 8 hours of balls just because I shoot 75.
Hmm.
Um, and also just a little bit of it just feels like I'm playing for free. I'm just going out there and I'm, you know, looking at the pins. I know the distance. what's so complicated about it? Just hit the
Yeah,
green, make a putt, and um, obviously the game's it's definitely gotten better.
yeah,
Just slowly, fine-tuned a lot of things. I worked with my coach Brian Gathright a ton on distance control, which is super important in the professional career for this, and even in college, it's super important. But just as you continue to progress, you can't be airmailing greens from 120 yards. So,
yeah,
uh, and yeah, it's just a lot of it was just kind of finding my own schedule, not kind of being part of the team schedule, but more just kind of my own, um, you know, on my own time, and yeah,
yeah. That's part of it, right, Johnny? Is like on the team schedule. Not that you can't do your own thing within that boundaries, but like some guys are grinders, some guys are players, some guys are
yeah,
practice guys, and if you have a team that's a bunch of grinders and you're not, or vice versa, it kind of
yeah.
like, not that you don't can't have some of that your own, but like being on your own, you find what works for you, I assume.
Yeah, no, and honestly, I credit a lot of things to my teammates. I've gotten a lot of drills. I've gotten a lot of help from
Hmm.
my teammates on and off the course. Um, but yeah, I mean, just being an individual, going out there, kind of figuring out, going with the flow, understanding that, hey, today, like in the middle of the round, I want to work on putting after the round, just even if it, you know, goes better on the back nine, I still
Yeah.
want to work on it for 10, 15, 20 minutes after the round versus, I got to wait for all the guys to come in. We're all gonna go to a team dinner and then we're gonna go back to the hotel and have a team workout or something, right? Um, I can kind of figure out my own schedule and all that stuff and where I want to eat.
Yeah.
It's kind of,
Fair. Yeah.
just simple
Yeah.
stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, and honestly, I think Coach McGraw really helped me a lot with all that stuff, especially in the transition, and it's definitely given me a helping hand.
I mean, everyone's confident coming into the pro ranks, and you wanted to play well. Did you have goals going into the Americas event, Johnny, or like that? Are you a write down goals? Because like no one wrote down. I assume you'd be like pretty crazy to be like, yeah, I want to win a bunch of times and like
Yeah,
finish top eight every
yeah.
event or whatever.
I want to, yeah, I
Yeah,
just want to finish second 4 times.
yeah, yeah,
Um, no, I truly, I went out there and I was just trying to get my feet wet, really.
yeah,
I remember my first event, I went out there and I played 18 holes on Monday, 18 holes on Tuesday, and then we had an 18-hole pro-am on
yeah,
Wednesday. And so I played 54 holes before a 72-hole event, which was not very smart.
yeah,
I learned a lot. I was definitely a little anxious just between the figuring out where my host house was, figuring out where registration was, how to register, how to do all this stuff, how to, flights, logistics, and I had a sponsor value program, my very first pro event. So I was like
yeah,
sitting there, I was like, what is this? Like, what am I doing?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I gotta go I gotta do something, right?
Right, right.
Um, so I felt really relieved my first event, just kind of stepping up to the first tee and just I was like, man, I'm playing golf. I'm not registering. I'm not
Yeah.
doing interviews. I'm not doing anything like that right now. It's just straight golf. So, as for like goals going into it, I really had none. I was just sitting
Mhm.
there. I was like, I really just want to experience it and, embrace it all, the good and the bad. And, I remember after the first round, I shot 2 under and I was like, it's all right. It wasn't too bad. And I look at the leaderboard and it's like T70. I was like, what is
Yeah.
going on?
Yeah, what's this? Right.
And yeah, so I mean, yeah, and then since then, obviously, I've set some goals. I wanted to win a few times. I wanted to, get my Korn Ferry card. I wouldn't say that I had, number one or
Yeah.
the points that I got on Americas or even last year on the Korn Ferry. I really didn't think that, Player of the Year was going to be just, dead
Yeah.
sad. And obviously, I wanted the PGA card really badly, and yeah, just kind of halfway through the season, I was like, we can kind of adjust some of these goals and
Yeah, right,
kind of
right. Like,
kind of look
oh,
at
this
it
has
as
gone better than I like
revise it a little bit more. So yeah.
yeah. I assume that confidence has just carried into this season, Johnny. Like that I assume again, not that you're not confident coming in, but when you see results, that kind of changes like yeah, okay, if I go to Korn Ferry next year and I play well, that's great. If I get my card, great. We know this is a process. Does that change to like, oh, like, yeah, I belong out here again? Not that you didn't think that, just that you
Yeah.
backed it up. So did going into the Korn Ferry season, I assume, changed a little bit at least. Like you said, you're not going to think, oh, I'm going to finish number one, which you did, but like I assume you're like, man, I this is going well. I don't see any reason why it's going to slow down when I go to Korn Ferry.
Yeah, I mean, winning player of the year definitely gave me a lot more confidence going
Yeah,
in. To be able to sustain the play that I had on Americas over and over again, even when it felt like I was out of contention, I'd somehow, get a nice round going, and then I'd be right there. And it just kind of showed me, especially going into the Corn Ferry season, that um, it's not going to change that much. The courses aren't going to change that much. A 300-yard drive down the middle of the fairway is always going to be pretty good.
right.
Um, Making a lot of putts is always going to be really good. So kind of going out there and really just simplifying everything and having the results that in the back of my mind that I, can kind of back myself up with and show up. And, obviously the Bahamas events didn't go that great. Um, but it was nice to fall back on the previous success that I had to kind of go forward, and I played really nicely from there.
Yeah. I know you've only played a few PGA Tour events, but has it been hard to get used to? A lot of guys say that like Corn Ferry, you guys all have kind of one goal, so there's some camaraderie. A lot of younger guys get to the PGA Tour; it's a little more loner. Everybody kind of sticks to their own thing. Did you get that feeling, Johnny? Is that something you're conscious of going into this next season? Is like I got to find like guys to hang with, people to have dinner with, whatever.
Yeah, I mean a little bit. The nice part is pretty much half of the events that I've played. I've known a decent amount of the guys, and Michael Brennan, I hung out with in Cabo. I hung out with him a little bit at RSM, and yeah, just finding my group out there is definitely going to be a little different. There's a lot more team oriented things versus, um, you're not hanging around with 5 or 6 guys all
Yeah,
having to bunk in Airbnbs and stuff like that and on the Corn Ferry Tour, which is completely natural, but not as natural on the PGA Tour.
yeah,
Um, so I mean, yeah, I'll I'll still talk to a bunch of guys. I'll still see a bunch of guys and dining and all that, and still seem like there's pretty good camaraderie, especially at RSM. I mean, all the Sea Island guys live there, so
yeah.
they all know each other really well. So there's a decent amount of young guys that I talk to as well. Have lunch with and stuff like Gordon Sargent and Carl. I've seen a few times. Thor. A lot of the guys that I played with against in college.
I mean, again, you had a very good college career. But the expectations, the quote unquote spotlight has, you have to do more of this. Before we came on, Jenny was talking about some sponsor events he's been doing and those kind of things. Those things grow. Johnny, has the off the course stuff been an adjust? I mean, I know it's an adjustment, but has it been because of your great play? It's good problems to have. Not that it's problems, but just
Yeah.
like, is that part of golf been not hard to get used to, but an adjustment?
Yeah, no, and I talked to you before about this, and the nice part about our job is, during the season we're just more worried about kind of ourselves, what we're doing on the course and off the course to kind of progress our careers like that. And then once the season's over and you got a little bit of time, that's when a lot of the sponsor stuff comes in and a lot of travel comes in, and it almost feels a little bit more like a job. And I think that's both a blessing and also, it's tiring and different. It's something to adjust to. I've really enjoyed it. But at the same time, yeah, it's completely different than what
Yeah,
college was.
yeah,
Every now and then I remember my freshman year when I was asked to, have an interview. I was like, whoa, what?
yeah,
Sure,
right,
sure.
right, yeah,
And now it's become a little bit more normal. and yeah, kind of a little bit more part of my routine.
Go. Are you like a write down goals kind of guy, or just go play golf and see what happens?
I mean, I definitely write down goals. I'm still formulating some of those goals for
Sure.
next year.
Yeah.
Um, and but at the same time, like I like to keep it realistic at the same time as, shoot for the stars and everything. And I kind of wing it for the most part with everything.
Hmm.
Um, I understand that we're playing a game and it's supposed to be fun. I'm supposed to enjoy it. I don't want to be stuck down saying like, oh, I missed my goal this week of by point something in strokes gained, putting and
Right.
chipping and whatever. So like, I understand for the most part with all those statistics and all the goals and everything kind of formulate into one big goal, which is at the end of the day, be the best player that I can be. Um, but every single week I'm coming in and I've fully prepped everything exactly, I exactly how I want to. And if it turns out good, if it doesn't, I can't change it. So, and I ain't changing it on Thursday afternoon or Friday
Sure.
afternoon.
Yeah.
That ain't happening for the most part. So, yeah, I just try and go out there and play.
I assume, Johnny, like again, not that you don't know you can't play in the PGA Tour, you do, but each level, I assume it's nice to have like an early finish, an early event where you're like, okay, yeah, this is just another golf tournament. Yes, the players are better, but at the end of the day, so does that RSM kind of give you like a little bit of a step forward on your rookie season? Like, you don't have to go into
Yeah.
Sony completely like, oh, or you missed the cut in Mexico. So it's like, oh, okay, yeah, I can hang here. I know I belong. Like this is
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, getting those tournaments in and playing well. And honestly, for me, another really good confidence builder was Napa about a year
yeah,
ago.
yeah,
I played really well in Napa coming out of Americas. That's skipping a
yeah,
step. It's kind of like
right.
what Michael Brennan did, but
Yeah,
not quite as good. I got 13th there, played really well, and then RSM kind of, it's a year difference, right?
yeah,
A lot's changed in a year. I didn't play that great in Mexico, my second day, and then go out there to RSM, and I just played some really solid rounds. I think I had a 7-hole stretch my first round, and
yeah.
literally the first 7 holes that I would say was subpar. Um, and then, but for the most part, getting those tournaments under my belt and having those before the season started is really nice and definitely a confidence builder.
I've said this many times, Johnny, but in the whatever 7 years I've done this, there hasn't been many players, other players that talk about another player as much as they do about you. Do you hear that stuff? Like, uh, I won't name names on the Korn Ferry Tour, but like Dennis Paulson, I was just on his show. He said it. He played with you. James Nitties has says it. Like the ball flight's different. The like the speed is different. Like it's your game is another level. Do you hear that stuff, or do you have to block it out, or or is there a middle ground of that?
No, I mean, I don't like intentionally like, no,
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah.
stiff arm that. I'm like, no, it's okay. I don't mind a few compliments here and there.
right,
That's,
right,
it's nice.
right.
But at the same time, there's a lot of things in my game that I look at, that need to be improved.
Mhm.
And I know that the PJ Tour is a different level as well. I mean, I've seen some really, really incredible ball strikers just in the first few weeks that I've played, and then I've also seen some really incredible putters, and and it's everyone's got a little bit of something, and it's nice to hear that I get the compliments from some of these great guys, and um, hopefully I get a lot more compliments next year.
Yeah. How soon till you're number one in the world, Johnny? Really? I mean, that's it. Like, are we going to be by the end of the year, or get a lot? Is it? Is that a goal? Is that honestly? Is that a goal? Obviously, it's not at the end of the year, but like, is that something you're like consciously think about or have as a long term goal? Like, obviously, you want to win majors, you want to win golf tournaments, all that stuff. But is world number one like a goal that you would love to have at some point? Is it like on
Yeah,
top of mind? I mean, obviously it
yeah.
would be, but I'm saying like, do you think about that as a main goal?
No, I really don't. And again, kind of going back to it, I just like taking it one step at a time for the
Yeah.
most part. Good golf solves a lot of problems.
Yeah.
Um, and it's never going to change either. At the end of the day, if golf is taken away from me tomorrow, I'll be completely fine. And
Hmm.
but I also am very competitive. I want to beat the crap out of everyone. I want to beat the crap out of my competition. So
Yeah.
I love competing, and it's something that I really enjoy, and I'm definitely going to set some goals. I haven't quite set number one in the world as my
Yeah.
next
Okay.
goal,
Sure.
but I definitely think hopefully it'll be on the agenda eventually, and I'd love to reach to that point, but it's not something that I'm in dire need of right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that, taking it tournament by tournament, playing good golf will kind of take care of a lot of that stuff.
You haven't in your 2 years as a pro have had any like, I mean, any struggles really. You've had like one miscut in a row. Eventually, at some point, you're going to go like through a 2, 3 week stretch. Is that something you work on with your team, Johnny? Like consciously, like that's eventually going to happen, whatever that is. If it's a
Yeah,
2 week stretch or a month stretch, there's going to be some bad
yeah.
golf eventually. Do you cross that bridge when you come to it working with a mental coach or whatever, or is it like, yeah, we got to prepare for that because I know it's coming? Because I mean, quite frankly, you've had almost zero struggles. I know throughout a week you had, but like for the most part, you haven't really had a stretch of any bad golf. So is that how will you handle that when it comes?
Yeah, and that's a really good question. For me, like I've never been one to hit the panic button right away.
Yeah, right.
Um, I'd say, I mean, the closest that I had was probably the Bahamas back-to-back weeks. I didn't really play that great. Obviously a new tour, different. But again, for me, it's like falling back onto the past success and all of that. And look, my game is just fine. Obviously, there's always going to be things that I want to work on between ball striking, chipping, putting, even just the mental side, just strategy and everything. So, yeah, that doesn't mean that I won't clean up things from week to week. Um, but that's kind of the same, regardless of whether it's a good week or a bad week. I always kind of look retrospectively and just kind of be um, kind of really real with myself in my game. And look, sometimes there were a few times this year where I played really well, or I should say, like scored really well, got the most out of it. But I knew it wasn't clean. I knew it wasn't good enough to
Hmm.
win that week. Um, and I think that's the same with missed cuts and bad stretches. I mean, sometimes you just get unlucky.
Yeah,
Sometimes, you could get a bad draw. Sometimes you just get sick.
yeah,
Um, sometimes you're just waking up on the wrong side of the bed some days and you just have a bad attitude and you're just like sitting there, you're like, why did I just hit that? That's terrible. And I think that's going to be really hard. But at the same time, I always think about it, it's like you're never as good as you think you are, and you're never as bad as you think you are.
hmm.
It's got to go both ways.
Leading up to the Sony, what is that preparation like? Is there? I mean, you have to put the clubs away at some point for a little while.
Hmm.
Uh, are you like when you when you are leading into that? Is that like a couple weeks out? You're preparing now. What is the build up to being ready and finding
Yeah,
that balance of being rested and have your game ready?
yeah. I mean, for me, I took a few weeks off, which was nice. Between just traveling and honestly doing some of these sponsor things, which is nice, kind of putting up the clubs a little bit and
Yeah.
just worrying about regular life. And um, I'm actually going back to, you know, getting back into it. It's not quite as um, rigorous as it would be kind of in the middle of the season and all that stuff. But yeah, no, me and my coach are looking through some changes in my swing and changes in certain things. I wouldn't actually say changes, it's more just fine tuning.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff that you can't really do in the regular season,
Hmm.
or it's hard to do, especially, you know. when I'm playing well, I'm scoring well, I'm doing all the things that I need to do. We don't want to change anything too drastic. And now that I have a few weeks going into Sony, I can kind of look at it and if it takes, 4, 5, 6 days to get used to it, and I'm hitting the ball like crap for six
Yeah.
days, that's
Right.
fine.
Yeah.
Do it now, and um, it's stuff that it's nothing crazy, but definitely trying to ramp it up a little bit more and more. And I know going into Sony, I'll be ready.
On that, no, I mean, you talked about playing 18 3 days in a row in your first pro event. You're like, got to Thursday, you're like, well, won't do that again.
Yeah,
I assume there's part of it, Johnny's like sticking to what has got you to this point, but also fine tuning when necessary, whether that's less or more, it doesn't matter. Is that something like on a week to week basis, or do you try to stick to your routine that like almost
yeah.
exclusively that has gotten you here?
No, I mean, I pretty much stick to the same routine.
Hmm.
I pretty much take Mondays as my Sabbath. I just don't touch a club. Don't, I mean,
Yeah.
that's my travel day. I I won't really do it unless I really, really have to.
Mhm.
Um, and then Tuesdays is still pretty light. I'll play like 9 holes and then I'll, go practice just a little bit, more greens work and all that stuff. And if I really need to, I'll go walk the other half. But I have some pretty short days. Because I've just always in my head, if I get there and I'm trying to figure it out that week, that's never really
Yeah.
I mean, it tires you out mentally, physically. Um, for me, even if I have a bad Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, ball striking wise, I just kind of clean up some small things, keep
Yeah.
myself fresh, and go into the week with a positive mindset. And for the most part, it's worked out. It's
Yeah,
been
that's
nice
it,
being
right,
fresh
Johnny?
and
Like, if you're struggling, you don't want to go to the range. That's gonna like it's out of your routine. Then you're like, I assume overthinking it. It's back to like if you're gonna struggle, you're gonna struggle. Go fix it back home when you have a week off, and then
yeah.
get back to it. Like going to grind on the range when you don't do that, just like doesn't really do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, and not saying that a nice half hour after a
Yeah,
practice round isn't
right.
isn't isn't going to do any good. I'm more just saying, I'm not spending 3 hours on a
Yeah,
range on a
right.
Wednesday trying to think about my swing the entire time. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I might hit some distances, hit a few shots, but I'm not sitting there analyzing every little inch of my swing on a golf course and on a day again that I might have just woke up on the wrong side of the bed and the
yeah.
body's not feeling that great. And honestly, a workout might do me some good and some of that stuff. Or yeah.
I appreciate it, Johnny. Thanks for the time, man. Yeah, sent Johnny a message. He immediately messaged me back. I appreciate it, dude. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Look forward to you having a great year. Thanks for the time.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on.